And then, yeah. Live.
You didn't bring in the mouse.
No. What do you want to call this?
Submission coalition. Live martial arts movies. Interesting that it's mirrored. There it goes.
All right, there we go.
All right, yeah, if you could ask them to turn that down.
Can
Hey,
you hear
what's
me?
up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Testing this out for the first time. I've never used Zoom before, so.
Nice. Well, welcome to the 21st century.
Yeah.
What's up?
Man, and there's Nick live from Ohio.
Yeah, I
going
know.
on?
Still skipping warm-ups.
So we got a few more people that should be jumping in. The guys are trained us. I just asked them to turn the stereo down.
Right.
Getting a little rambunctious in there. And Melissa's jumping in.
What's up, Melissa?
Howdy. Long time no speaky.
I know.
So we should have Chris Brooks and Dave Gomez. Especially considering this morning, you know, as soon as I put it out there, Dave Gomez was just like dropping them. I was like, no. Like, you better hold on. You just invited yourself.
Yeah, he seemed like he was going to be all about it, so.
Yeah. So one of my things, because I one of my plans is to do a little bit more live chats with like the fight team and some of the different groups, talk about some jiu-jitsu matches, talk about UFC matchups coming up, you know, different stuff that's going on. But I figured we kick off with something a little bit more lighthearted and something that doesn't matter if we screw it up or not, because nobody's going to care. So, but hey, if you do care, put it in the comments and tell us how we messed up.
All right, I am putting it on the live here so we can see if anybody comments.
Yes, ma'am.
I have it.
So we can't see the live
muted.
on here if they comment?
No.
All right, so you'll have to be our moderator just in case some
Yes.
jackass needs to.
I'm moderating. So far, no jackasses present.
What was it? Somebody have closed captioning on?
Yes, because I have the volume on.
Okay.
Otherwise, we're gonna have like weird, like echoey.
Okay. I didn't know that when you turn the volume off, it went to closed captioning.
Mine does. My phone's badass.
That's interesting.
Learn something new.
Yeah, me too.
Okay,
That's
so click on Dave.
all right. Dave
Hit
Gomez
admit.
is coming in.
Oh, you just I tried to remove him.
Okay, you stop it.
Dave, what?
I'm on admit.
Yes, now hit it.
Somebody didn't bring the mouse in here.
Oh, there's good.
Jesus.
There he is.
Yeah, there's the man.
And this is why we are white belts in podcasting.
Hey. Knock
I mean,
it
you've
off.
only been doing it for like 2 years now?
But I think right now we're at like 75. I think we're a blue belt now.
Okay.
I think we made
There we
up
go.
for our white belt issues. I mean, blue belts still make a mistake, but they recover and they move on. That's what happens. So
Okay.
Brooks is the only one we're still waiting for.
Yes, you did mess.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
got you. Actually, I think you're coming in louder than everybody else.
Oh, he came in a Bruce Lee t-shirt too. Look at him.
Oh, snap.
I had
He
to do
came
it.
ready.
Man.
You want me to message him?
Yeah, if you can. Yeah, he came ready. I didn't even, man. So hopefully nobody had any prior discussions, so that you're not tainted by someone else's opinion.
I'm still having a tough time with my list.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
man.
tough one.
Did you
But,
PM them the thing?
Yeah, in the Messenger.
He's been thinking about his list since noon,
Do
so.
this. Oh, because it's on your phone. So probably what we'll end up talking about is, for those who are going to be watching this, we're talking about the top 5 martial arts movies. To be honest, I'm not sure if documentaries should fall in this category or not, if we're just talking just straight up fictional. And more than likely, I guess we'll probably end up talking about some movies that just sucked, that
There's plenty of those.
that were horrible.
Well, I'm almost kind of thinking we go ahead and start, and we'll see what happens with Brooks. Cool.
All right,
So who's kicking off?
we can do that. All right. Well, Dave was dropping it earlier. So what do you got for number 5?
Number 5. Let me take a look at my list here. All right, I got the Forbidden
He's got a
Kingdom.
list.
Heck yeah.
I made notes in my phone.
Number
I'm the
5.
most underprepared.
Well, hold on. So first, let's get some ground rules. So, are we including or are we allowing documentaries?
I didn't think about documentaries when we were coming up with the
Oh,
list,
I
but
think yes, we do.
Are we allowing them?
Yes, because otherwise I don't have
Okay.
there you go.
So I don't know, because if we allow documentaries, my 5 is going to shift.
I know. I feel like I have to change mine a little bit.
I mean, if we allow documentaries,
Yes.
so
I am.
I mean,
I'm
so-
saying
so
yes.
you're
okay.
voting yes.
I'm voting yes.
All right, Matt, what's your vote?
We'll go documentaries. Yeah. We'll allow
Documentaries
it.
are included,
I'm good with
Nick?
that.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so documentaries are included. So now I gotta potentially drop something here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Brain farting. Oh lordy. All right, Dave, go ahead and kick us off while Dave is.
Yeah, what's your
compiling.
number 5?
All right. So let me preface my list by saying this, right? I thought about it and I was like, okay, do any of the Rocky movies, Creed, The Fighter, like we were talking about earlier today, does that fall into this category of this type of movie?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm going to say no,
Boxing.
right? I'm going to say no. It's more, it's more just like Western boxing type, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Even though
I'm
some
not-
of
Right.
those movies are awesome,
So some
So-
I mean, now granted, I mean, I do consider boxing to potentially be a martial art. It can be. I don't think that most of the boxers really look at it from the aspect that the martial artist does.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah.
it could be. But for the sake of the movies and things of that nature, I think martial arts films are pretty much their own genre compared
Right.
to boxing.
Yeah. I feel like the only one that may cross over is that movie called Warrior, where he's like
Oh, yeah.
an MMA fighter.
But that's
And-
MMA.
Yeah.
though.
MMA.
That's
what
MMA.
That's
it was.
MMA.
So
Right.
right.
So if that one, if that's
That
a
one counts.
crossover, right?
I believe
that
it
would be
does.
my number 5. That would be my number 5. If not, I went with Forbidden Kingdom. The storyline is not great.
Oh,
The storyline is not great, but it has Jet Li in it, and
Yeah.
it has Jackie Chan in it, right?
yeah.
Jackie Chan does some of that drunken master type stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went with that one, number 5.
So you're not going with Warrior. You're going.
Let me go with Forbidden Kingdom.
Forbidden Kingdom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your video just cut out, Dave,
Yeah.
by the way.
Let me see.
See, when people talk about their list, now it reminds you of movies.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
exactly.
I loved Forbidden Kingdom for the
Now,
longest
now
time.
I will
That's,
admit.
now, that's what I'm thinking.
Now Warrior was on my list.
Okay. Cool.
Forbidden Kingdom is not.
Okay. Number 4, I went with the classic Karate Kid. Right.
Ooh.
Just a staple. You know, God knows how many people started
You write-
training
you write this
karate
down.
after that
I'm writing
movie.
down mine.
You know, Karate Kid.
not prepared.
Number 3.
Okay,
I
hold on. We gotta let
Okay.
Brooks in. I'm gonna admit him, not remove him.
Late to the show, Brooks.
All right, so hold on. So let's do this. So right now, just so your number 5 is
The Forbidden Kingdom.
Forbidden Kingdom. So let's just hit number 5, and then we'll work our way through.
Okay, cool.
Same thing.
There you are.
There he is.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out this technology stuff.
Yeah, I mean, come on. We're martial artists. We get hit in the head a lot. So
Yeah. How you guys
right.
doing?
so currently, right now, the only thing that we've done is we've Dave has gone over his number 5.
Yes.
Now we did say
Okay.
We laid some ground rules.
we did say documentaries are included, boxing films are not.
Okay. All right. So how about films that have martial arts fighting in them, but they're not in the genre of martial arts?
That counts
What?
for sure.
I thought about that too. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
I think
I would say it counts.
Okay, all right.
'Cause
well,
one of
That
my-
counts for sure.
Okay, so
It has to play a predominant role.
yes, it has to
Yeah,
play a
yeah.
predominant
Predominant
role.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it
All
can't just be like a
A
fight
fight
scene
scene.
in a movie, because otherwise, I mean, lots
Okay.
of movies have martial arts in their
Yes.
fight scenes, but
Right.
the martial arts is not necessarily a
Yeah, it has to
foundation
be a keystone of it.
All
of
right.
the film.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So what have
All
we
right.
got down so far?
Just Dave has given us his number 5.
He said Forgotten Kingdom. So Matt, what do you got for number
The
5?
Forbidden Kingdom. Yeah.
Or Forbidden Kingdom.
So for my number 5, I actually put, so it's funny that Dave mentioned his number 4 because I put Karate Kid as my number 5.
All right.
Again, just because it's one of those that's like it's a staple, like you said, you know, I feel like everyone's seen it and it kind of motivated them and pushed them in that direction towards martial arts and like this overcoming of bullies and stuff like that. So that's my number 5.
Gotcha.
It's funny you say that because I knew it had to be in there for one of mine, but I wasn't exactly sure where to put it.
Yeah. What
But I
place?
would say same for me. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
See, surprisingly, it's not on my list.
So that's 2 for 2, not on your list.
But if we were to put TV shows in, Cobra Kai would have been
Cobra Kai probably be my
for
number
sure.
1.
Yeah.
He likes that TV show more than the movie.
Oh my
Oh,
God, it's so
big
good.
time. Big time. Love Cobra Kai way more than and I watched all the Karate Kids.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
watch it. I haven't dedicated time to watch it, but I
Oh
guess
my
I
God,
have
it's
to.
so good.
What's
Well,
that?
luckily, the
Cobra
good
Kai?
part is they're short episodes, so it's not like you're dedicating. I mean, although you do get a lot more content because it's a lot more
Right.
seasons, and so the amount of time actually dedicated to it is a
But
lot.
I think they're
more.
like 30, 40 minutes, something like that.
Yeah,
It's so good. Just
Yeah,
that
I'm gonna check it
the
out.
whole juxtaposition that they went with where Johnny's not the bad guy and Danny's kind of a douche.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic.
right.
Yeah.
And there's so much 80s references because Johnny is stuck in
Yeah,
80s.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, so Nick, what do you have for number 5?
Are you glitchy?
You're muted, Nick.
We can't hear you.
No, you guys can't hear
Now
me.
we can.
Now we can.
So my top 5, my 5 was Monkey King from the Netflix
Oh,
series.
that's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, Christian's probably going to hate me for saying that one because I know he loves Monkey King. But yeah, just all the staff fighting and that and drunken style with a couple of the characters. That's just what made me fall in love with weapons.
Are we allowing anime?
No.
Oh,
That was a quick, decisive no vote.
Well, and
Oh
my-
man.
here's my rationale behind it. That is way too deep.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there
I
are
know.
a huge
Yeah,
amount of
yeah,
anime based on
Yeah.
martial arts. I think that's a
Oh, yeah.
discussion for itself.
See, I don't have a number
Yeah.
5.
Absolutely.
right.
So, and that's why I think that, I mean, we have to be talking about film.
No,
'Cause
yeah.
anime is so deep. I mean,
No, actually, these were subtitled movies on Netflix. for
yeah,
the Monkey
subtitles
King.
are okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Brooks, what do you got for
That's a
number
good-
5? Or you did so Matt was Karate Kid.
Yeah, I think Brooks agreed. Number 5 was Karate Kid for him too.
Yeah, I would agree that would probably be 5. I mean, it might get kicked out a little bit later, but I think for me, I was I remember the 80s really well. I remember when it came out. I went to watch it. It's one of like the first movies that got me into that mode of really liking martial arts and thinking about learning martial arts. Not because of Johnny or Danielson, but because of Miyagi. I really liked Mr. Miyagi's character, and what was his name? What was the actor's name
Pat Morita.
that played Mr. Miyagi? Yes, Pat Morita. I
Yeah,
really
Pat Morita.
liked his character in that movie. I don't know. It struck a chord with me when I was a young kid coming up. So I think
Sorry,
for
Christian was doing
that
the
aspect
slow
of it.
creak on the door, like he's trying to hide the sound, but he's drawing it out for like 3 minutes.
What's up, Christian?
Right.
I'm not
All right, Melissa, what's your number 5?
I don't have one.
No, you have to have
4.
one.
I have
I'm about to
4.
kick you out if you don't have 5.
No.
What
He's
is
gonna
your
kick you out of
5?
your own podcast.
You failed the assignment.
Yes.
The assignment was 5.
I have 4.
Assignment was
I
5.
have 4.
You can't even think of one. You can't even be like, oh, I'll put Karate Kid. It's 5.
The Karate Kid's already on. There.
Okay.
Well, that's
So-
like 4,
I
right?
was not as into martial arts movies. as
Okay,
you
but
were.
don't tell me you haven't seen more than 5 martial arts films. So that's what I'm saying. I invited some other people and they're like, oh, I really didn't watch many martial arts films. Like, dude, you've seen them. They're there. I mean, don't tell me that you didn't watch them. So my number
Actually,
5.
it was hard for me to pick.
Yeah, my number
Yeah.
5 was Best of the Best.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that one. Damn it.
Ooh, I forgot about that one. That's a
That
good
should have
one.
been on my list.
Wow. Yeah.
That's my
absolutely.
number 5.
Okay, I'm
um,
stealing
the
that
best
one as
of
my
them?
number 5.
Yeah, Best
That's
of the
a-
Best.
if some of you have never seen that movie, you've got to go watch that movie.
Julia Roberts' brother Eric Roberts is
Yep.
one of the main characters.
Okay.
And it's got one of my favorite lines in there when there's a fight going on. One of the characters says something like, ride him like a toilet seat. And
Wow.
but it's another one of the classic lead up to the tournament. And then the end of the movie is the big tournament going on. But yeah, Best of the Best is my number 5. Could have been further up in the list, but there's some other stuff that needs to be there. So
Oh yeah. Oh, that
So
was it's so funny. I didn't even have it. That I think I've watched that. I think I've watched that movie actually more than the Karate Kid.
right.
But I totally. And matter of fact, I just watched it probably a year ago. So it's actually one of the more recent movies I've watched. I always liked that one as well as a good one.
Yes, I liked Karate Kid, but of the films, it's the one I've probably watched the least. I've only watched it like a handful of times.
You didn't have teenage sisters in the 80s, did you?
No.
Oh, God.
All right, so Melissa, you're stealing my number 5. All right. Number 4, Dave.
So my number 4 was Karate Kid.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So you moved it up a little bit.
Yeah. So, for all the reasons we mentioned, kids getting bullied, new town, martial arts, learns to protect himself.
And I do think it definitely got a resurgence because of Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
It got people hitting that nostalgia in the show.
Yeah. So that was my number 4 was Karate Kid.
All right, Matt, what do you got number 4?
All right, so hopefully I don't get in trouble for this one, but my number 4 was actually Mortal Kombat.
Ooh.
Which one? The original?
The
Yeah,
original?
the original Mortal Kombat. So again, it was another movie that I remember watching as a kid, and then just having the story of the realms coming together for a big tournament, and obviously I like the main protagonist. His character was basically, you had all these other characters that had these special powers, but it was basically him and just his base of martial arts
Right.
that were taking them on. So I really like that movie. And when I thought of this list, that that was another movie that just like came right to the top of my head.
So fun fact, that is the first movie that Christian ever saw as a little baby, and he lost his pacifier in the movie theater,
Yes.
which turned out he didn't actually lose it. It got like stuffed in his car seat,
Yep.
and we didn't find it for like a month. But it was his favorite one, and it was horrible. I mean,
So it'll always be remembered for that.
Yes.
yeah, that one is. We saw it in a movie theater. There was only about 6 of us in the entire movie theater when we watched it. It was really towards the end of its run in one of those rundown, cheap theaters. That's the only reason why we went with Christian.
Wow.
So,
Got it.
yeah. All right, Nick, what you got?
So Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh.
Which one?
Oh.
The original?
Oh, the original.
Nice.
Yeah.
With Vanilla Ice in it.
Just watched that the
See,
other day.
That's another one that I didn't even think in this
I didn't even
category.
That was number 2. The
That was
one
number
with
2
Snow
for
Ice
you?
was number 2. That was the Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, that
No,
was
was
the
that?
Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Oh, that was 2.
So
That's
which-
right.
Yeah.
No, that was the ninja rap.
Yeah.
What year did the original movie come out? Because I know I was working in a movie theater when number 2 came out. I'm trying to remember if I was
I
at a
think it
movie
was
theater when number 1 came
85.
out.
I thought it was in the mid 80s, but it might have been later than that.
Mid to late 80s, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said, I know I was working at a movie theater when number 2 came out.
The original came
Wow.
out in 1999 or 90. Sorry.
What?
No,
90?
yeah, I was gonna say 90.
Oh,
90.
90.
So
Yeah.
yeah, actually, I think I was working at a
Wow.
movie theater when that one came out.
That was later. Oh.
Yeah.
Now, I was giving a bunch of the kids, whenever they wear shirts, I like to quiz them on what the shirt is. And one of the kids was wearing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt. And I went up to him and I told him, I was like, who's the best character? And I can't remember. They threw out like Donatello or Raphael or whatever. And I go, wrong. Everybody knows it's Casey Jones. And he goes, who?
Oh.
Didn't even know who
Yeah.
Casey Jones was.
Yeah. Oh, he's one of the baddest characters in Teenage
Oh.
Mutant Ninja Turtles.
But they've
Best.
kind of like watered him down over the years. Like,
Oh,
big
they
time.
watered him way down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think they had to for the younger audience that got so involved with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles
Yeah.
because he was really like a go hard vigilante when
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
Right.
All right, Brooks, what do you got for number 4?
Number 4, I would have to say would be The Quest.
Okay, Von Damme.
Yeah, it's a Von Damme movie. A lot of people don't even really because it was kind of an obscure movie, but I really liked it. The storytelling line behind it was really good, and it had like all of the different kinds of martial arts being pinned against each other at the end, which
Yeah.
I always thought was really cool. So for me, I don't know. I kind of really got into Van Damme when I was younger. I always thought he was very charismatic on the camera. He was a good martial artist. He was very sellable in the roles that he played. As to me, when I was growing up, in the roles that he played. And I really liked that movie. It
He
wasn't
was
just
the reason why I was doing the splits like everybody else was.
Yeah.
Trying to do him in the chair.
I did
Yeah.
it in the chair. I
I
used
think
to
he
be
was
able
the
to
reason
go.
why
I
I
used to be
realized.
able to go below
Oh,
with my
Yeah.
legs on the chair. I used to be able to drop my hips below the chair levels because when his
man.
original movie Cyborg came out and he did the splits in
Oh,
there,
that-
that was it. Like
another
every
another really good one.
every martial artist was at that point trying to do the splits. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
all right, Melissa. So without looking at my list,
Karate Kid was number 4 for me.
so Karate Kid's your number 4?
Yes.
All right.
I wasn't peeking at your list
You stole my number 5,
No.
so
because I forgot.
yes. So I had Warrior as my
Okay.
number 4.
Good movie. Yeah.
That was a really good movie.
I still
Yeah.
think to this day, with exception of, and actually I don't have it on the list, but I thought it's the best movie out right now, taking a quasi-serious approach or a dramatic film for MMA.
Yeah.
There's been some crappy ones out there, but I thought that one did a really good job of trying to make a big budget film. There's a documentary on Netflix about Jose Aldo that I think is also really good. I didn't put it on my list, but it's a subtitled one, but it covers his life and leads up to him, getting his championships and the like. That as far as a realism is another really good one. But yeah, Warrior for me, because I think MMA needs its Rocky. I think MMA needs its big dramatic film that's real. I mean, because I'm sorry, what was the Halle Berry's movie that just came out? That was trash. That was so garbage.
Well, what was the one that they did a couple of where it was like high schoolers?
Never Back Down.
Never Back Down.
Never
that's
Back
what it was.
Down, right?
Never Back Down. And it was like that was the big like MMA style kind of movies that were going around. It was like, man, these aren't even really that good.
Right. Well, I thought Never Back Down fell into the old classic Bloodsport, The Quest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a classic tournament movie,
Right.
And so like the Halle Berry film, I don't know if you guys have seen the Halle Berry one. They oh man, it was like throw every cliche into the film. I mean,
I don't think I've seen it.
I didn't
No, I
like
haven't
it.
seen
I didn't
it.
like it at all. But yeah, I thought Warrior's a little cliche as well, but
They did it really well.
I thought they did a pretty good job, and the fight scenes were decent. Krzysztof Szynski, a real MMA fighter, played one of the roles. Although I mean, the fight choreography's a little hokey at
Dave,
times.
you're
but-
muted again, bud. There you go.
There he is.
My wife's making noise in the background.
Oh,
Ah.
it's all good.
All right, number 3. What do you got, Dave?
All right, number 3, I went with Ant Man.
Oh,
There's a lot of those.
yeah.
Right?
Yes.
A lot of
There's
those.
4.
When I got
Yeah.
home from 12 o'clock class, I put it on in the background. The first one, I put it on in the background.
Yeah.
And I went with that one because the martial art that he's doing is Wing Chun, right? Which some
Yep.
people say shit, some people say it's not going to work in self-defense or it's not going to work in MMA, whatever, but it's Wing Chun. Second, it's got like that dojo storming type feel. Like, he's got one guy coming up to him, trying to test himself against the master, whatnot, right? And then some of the other scenes, same type of thing. They're like, they're looking for the best fighters, and they're like, all right, let me fight you and test my skills. And at the same time, it's got like an element where he's like trying to hide the martial art and not teach it to certain people. So for that reason, for those reasons, I went with Ant-Man.
See, now, unfortunately, I've watched some documentaries on Ant-Man, but I've never seen the movies.
Movies are pretty good.
Yeah,
I
I watched
like Ant-Man as
documentaries on
well.
him as a person and documentaries on him as a martial artist. Like I've watched some black and white footage of him. Like he's in his 70s doing some of the wooden dummy drills, things of that nature, just prior to his death. But yeah, I've never actually seen
Wow.
the Ip Man films.
Yeah, that one actually, it starts right off where he's drilling on that dummy.
Yeah, the number 1 in that series is definitely my favorite out of the 4.
Yeah, for sure. They get a little hokey after number 2.
Yeah, and I think it's too. At some point, you're just like, all right, this is enough of this kind of story. You know what I mean? So
How many are out
Yeah.
right now?
I think it's 4.
I think
I-
4.
I think 4, yeah.
Or
Quite a few.
All right, so Matthew,
And Mike Tyson's in number 4.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's your number 3?
Forgot about that.
So my number 3, I was going back and forth between 2, Ip Man and this one, but I decided to go with this one, and it's Enter the Dragon.
Okay.
Oh,
So this is another one for me that was kind of like an original. I remember watching it with my grandfather, growing up, and I felt like kind of too. Bruce Lee is like a staple when you talk about martial arts films, in my opinion. You know what I mean? So I like this one. Had a kind of cool story with it, where he's like a secret agent, basically going to investigate this opium thing. But I like the tournament style, where he's going there to test himself against those guys. So that's why I picked it.
Nicholas, you're up.
So I can't remember the name of the title, and I couldn't find it earlier.
Oh my God.
Now maybe you guys can help me with it. It's the one with all the little, the kangaroo warriors.
Oh,
What's
shit.
What's it fucking called? I can't remember. There's 5
It's
kangaroos.
like the
with one
Warriors
kid.
of something.
oh no. That is shoot. Tank Girl?
No.
You're not talking about Tank Girl.
No.
That has
No,
like
I know the movie you're
kangaroo
talking about, though,
warriors
Nick.
in
That
it.
that is pretty good. Was it Warriors of
Yeah.
Virtue or something
Yeah,
like
it's like
that?
the Warriors of something.
Warriors of
Oh, you-
Virtue. Or some
You
shit.
lost me at the 5 kangaroos. I was
No,
like,
I know
what?
what movie it is. I just dropped.
It's a movie that was good, but
All right, here I'm looking up because I think it's Warriors of Virtue.
I'm almost positive.
Yes, it is.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
yeah,
1997. It's a it's like a kung fu style, but the main characters, instead of being Ninja Turtles, are kangaroos.
Really?
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
it's
That's
actually
a-
very
Seen
good.
that.
Very good
Another
film.
one for the list to check out, I guess.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
actually a pretty fun film. I think it was made kind of like Ninja Turtles for a slightly younger audience, but yeah, that was a fun one.
Brooks is up next, right?
Yes.
I have next.
Brooks, you up.
Number 3 for me would be Drunken Master, Jackie Chan.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Oh, the
Oh,
Drunken
yeah.
Master.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, that one. I like that one's the one that really where I really started to like Jackie Chan. And I think I've probably seen more Jackie Chan movies as far as martial artists go than anybody else. Of course, I think he's probably done more martial arts movies than anybody else. But I really like that one, just the kind of goofiness of it, and I've never seen anybody move like that before. When I saw that movie, the way like how acrobatic he was with all of his movements, and it really wasn't so much about the storyline, but about his actual ability. And like once you realize that's actually him doing all the stuff, and it's not some stunt double, and it's not like he's not on wires and he's actually like running around and doing all
Right.
these things. I found it so just like mesmerizing. And actually, after I watched that movie, I had to watch every Jackie Chan movie that I could get a hold of and try to watch. I'm sure there's plenty of them that I haven't.
Yeah,
But when I came
he was
across
doing
them, I was watching.
he was doing parkour before I even knew what parkour was.
Yeah.
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 No
Yeah.
joke with that for sure.
I mean, I watch people doing parkour now, and it's like when he was doing like Rumble in the Bronx, and which Rumble in the Bronx
Yeah.
is my first Jackie Chan film that I saw him
Me too.
Okay.
in. And at the time
Another
period, I
good
mean, I'd
one.
never seen some of those things. And yeah, to find out that he was doing some of that stuff, like running up walls and
Jumping.
things that,
What, what,
Yeah.
what was that movie? Man, don't even know really how to describe it. But he goes to investigate with a like police detective.
Rush
and,
Hour.
yeah, Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. He's
Oh,
doing a lot
Rush
of that
Hour. I've
stuff
watched all of Rush Hour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he does a lot of that stuff in Rush Hour where he's like running up walls and stuff
Yes.
with like barely anything
Oh,
to
yeah.
climb onto.
Yeah.
So definitely cool. I'm a big fan of Jackie Chan too. I think the same thing. And like when you learn about all this
Yeah,
stuff where he's doing his own stunts and stuff is just crazy.
Yeah.
Super dedicated to his craft, not only acting but just the martial arts. And then when you really learn about him, what he went through when he was young in the schools, in the acting schools.
Yeah, when he was with the opera.
Yeah, in China, they're extremely strict, and almost on the edge of abusive.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but just I think he's an amazing martial artist. You know, so that was definitely he had to be on the list for me.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right, mine's not like a classic one. It's Here Comes the Boom.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a good
I
one.
just really enjoyed it.
That's a fun one.
No,
I
that's a
mean,
good
That's
one.
a yeah.
That's a
that is
good one.
That's funny.
So that's my number 3. I just enjoyed it. I thought it was actually a pretty good MMA movie, honestly.
well, and Kevin James used to wrestle back in the day,
Yeah,
and so
and that's why I
Legit
yeah.
technique. So yeah, I get it.
yeah, so he did some of the scenes, but it was a little tongue in cheek, but they did try to make it quasi real.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's what I was
he
gonna say.
actually got, they showed damage and all of that. It
Yeah.
wasn't
Well,
like,
that's what I was gonna say. For as funny as that movie was, the fight scenes were pretty cool. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Well, and also considering you had, it's basically, it's not an exact thing, but you have Rich Franklin, who was a math teacher, who then turned MMA fighter.
yeah. So they
you
kind
know.
of, almost like they based it kind of on that
Yeah.
a little bit loosely.
Yeah, loosely.
Very loosely. All right, Dave.
All right, so mine is, and it's a tough one, because it's one of my all-time favorite. It's probably one of the movies I've seen probably the most in my life. Was Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
I thought that
yeah,
I
would've
was
been
wondering when that was
absolutely.
going to come up for Dave.
I thought that was
So-
going to be number 1 for you,
I-
honestly.
It's a tough one. Because it's a martial arts film. It's a it's all kinds
It's
of different
everything.
stuff. And there's this could easily switch with my number 2. And probably should switch with my number 2, because there's parts of I could edit out probably about 20 minutes of my number 2 film and I would be okay. Whereas I don't think I would really edit anything out of Big Trouble in Little China.
Right.
It's got real folklore in it with so like Raiden is basically one of the characters. He's one of the 3 storms in Big Trouble in Little China.
Right.
So one of the characters that's in Mortal Kombat is based on a real legend within like Chinese martial arts and like. And so one of the characters, the electrical dude in Big Trouble in Little China, is essentially Raiden. It's the same character,
Right.
and I think it's the best rendition of that character.
Yeah. I watched that. I probably. That's a good one.
Yeah, I've watched that one way too much.
A lot.
So way too much.
A lot.
Well, and I love the fact that in the movie, the guy that's the main character is like he's the bumbling idiot, and everybody else. It's kind of like Harry Potter, but
Yeah.
because Harry Potter is the bumbling idiot, and everybody else around him is the one who actually solves everything. So Jack Burton,
Keeping him alive.
Yeah. he doesn't do much except throws one knife in one scene, and that's pretty much it. Other than that, he doesn't do a whole lot. All right, so we're getting down to the nitty gritty. Number 2.
Yeah.
What do you got, Dave?
All right, number 2 for me. Matt already mentioned this one, but for me, it's Enter the Dragon.
All right.
Man, I remember watching that as a kid on like the HBO channels. Like they would play it like for like a solid month. They would play it like around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd rush home to watch that. Like just the fight scenes were crazy to me, at the time. Plus, the other thing that really got me was like the tournament style that they did.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I grew up watching like boxing with my dad, and so like the high level boxers, those guys fight like twice a year, maybe 3 times. So like I kind of like at that time I kind of referenced it with that like you only see these guys fight, every 6 months pretty much, and then you see this guy and it's like a tournament style. that blew my mind at the time. So
Right.
for that reason, I went with Into the Dragon.
Now, I have to admit, when I was growing up, I didn't watch Bruce Lee that much. I was more of a Chuck Norris fan in the early days. I did watch Enter the Dragon, and some of his other films, but I was more Chuck Norris and the Octagon, Good Guys Wear Black, his series of films through there. But surprising, I don't have any Chuck Norris in my list.
Well, what's funny for me is like Chuck Norris. The bulk of my memory of Chuck Norris is Walker Texas Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for me, so that's when I think of Chuck Norris, that's what I think of. But
Or him trying to sell you workout
yeah,
equipment.
Bowflex.
Yep,
or
yep,
whatever
yep,
it is,
All right, Matt, what do you got? We're number 2.
So me and Dave's list are pretty close. Like I said, this was his number 3, but my number 2 was Ip Man. So I watched that whole series. I enjoy watching them. And like I said, I like the old schools kind of, the whole story behind it, plus his history of Bruce Lee and everything. But I really enjoy those movies, and that Wing Chun was that was like my introduction to that. So, a new style. So
Right. Now I'm curious, in the Ip Man film, did they give him credit for saying about being like water?
They talk about it, but I don't know that it's like they give him credit. You know what I mean? Like he says it, but it's not like they quote him as making it this grand thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
But
because that's where like some of the documentaries I was watching and things of that nature were basically saying that, that a lot of what Bruce Lee was putting out there, except for the being formless part, but like the be like water, they were like, that's it, man. That's actually his teachings, and one of his analogies that he used.
Nicholas, you're up, man.
So I'm gonna bring Jet Li into it and say The One.
Ooh,
That was a good one. I liked it.
I almost put this on my list. That was a really good one.
That was a good one.
Now, to be honest with you, I thought The One was a better, almost Highlander-esque story.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And was one of the earlier films to kind of, right now multiverse is everywhere.
Oh
Marvel's got that was one of those first films to really introduce the whole multiverse concept, and use it in a way that actually was kind of cool. That all of the remaining people, that as they were getting picked off one by one, were getting more powerful. I thought that was a very interesting concept.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about it. It's almost like, they were harnessing everyone's energy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And that's why I kind of correlate it to the Highlander film. That as they were killing, they were gaining more power. Right. So.
All right, Chris, you're up.
I have like 2 number 2s. I really couldn't, and I couldn't pick between the 2, but I'll say my number 2 is Kickboxer, another Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. But right there with it would have to be Bloodsport. Just because it was like one of the first real, I guess, serious, like martial arts movies that my parents let me watch. That it was a little bit more like, it was more than PG-13, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it was a little bit more.
I love Bloodsport. Bloodsport was one of my jams way back in the day. Way back. That was another
good one, man. It's a good one. But I think I ended up watching Kickboxer a lot more. And both of those movies are like right there, with each other as far as I'm concerned. I really have a hard time picking one over the other.
Now Kickboxer, was it Dennis Alexio that played the brother that got injured? So I was watching.
He was actually.
Yeah, I was watching a documentary on it that I guess it's him playing the part, but I guess his voice is dubbed over in the film. And
Oh,
then
really?
I saw
really?
I saw an actual reel of him, and they didn't like his voice at all. So
Oh,
Oh
man.
wow.
it's
Oh,
him playing the
wow.
part, but apparently they dubbed over for his voice.
Huh.
Wow.
All right.
Interesting.
My number 1 and number 2 are kind of back to back. Okay, so I got Warrior as my number 2.
Warrior.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was waffling between that one and my number 1.
All right, so my number 2 is The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
The Last Dragon. I don't know if I've seen that.
The Last Dragon. Now, I would like to make a Dave's cut where I could cut out, like I said, about 20 minutes of the film,
Right. Yeah. So
the annoying parts.
some of the bulk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could cut that out, and I would still love the movie. I probably watched that the most. I actually, Melissa and I were driving along about a couple months ago, and we were listening to an interview with Mac that played the main character, Bruce Leroy. So that's where Bruce Leroy, and one of the all-time best villains ever was Sho'nuff.
Sho'nuff.
Oh, that's the movie. I do
Oh.
remember that movie.
Sho'nuff
Yeah,
was one of
that was
the
another good-
best with his taglines and everything else.
Yeah.
Cut out the
Oh.
annoying singer girl, the dude, the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
The crazy punk dude.
Yes.
But we were
Better
we were
earring.
driving along, and we were listening to an interview with Mac, the guy that plays Bruce Leroy. And I remember as a kid, when he gets the glow and everything else, I used to get goosebumps all over my arms and everything. And while we're driving along and we're listening to the interview, I'm like, Melissa, look, I got goosebumps all over my arm.
That's great.
All right, number 1. We're at the number 1
This is it for all the marbles.
for all the marbles. All right, Dave.
This was a no-brainer for me. Bloodsport.
Yes. Thank
Great
you.
film. Great film.
Just like the training montages.
I didn't hear it.
It's an underground tournament. This guy's in another
Yeah.
country. You know what I mean? And then, like watching it the first time, I remember thinking like, all right, like everybody's gonna kickbox type of thing, you know. And then
Which one was it?
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. Like,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
thinking,
Bloodsport.
I'm thinking everybody's gonna kickbox or everybody's gonna do karate, and then you start seeing all these different styles. If you think about
Yeah,
it, right?
man.
Early days MMA, you know. So
And then you have the classic scene where he does the splits
The
and punches
scream.
the dude right in the balls.
Yes, that was the best part. What do you mean?
you know when he throws the whatever it was in his eyes, the
Yes.
chalk, the dust or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I still have it on DVD here somewhere.
I have it too. Yeah.
Yeah, Bloodsport, man.
Yeah, my buddies and I, we used to watch that one quite a bit.
Yeah, I used to
Now-
watch it all the time.
Now, Bloodsport is what led to me getting my job dislocated the first time. Because
Oh,
we
geez.
did garage fighting, me and my buddies, and I made it to the finals in the tournament, and for some reason I wasn't paying attention. I got kicked right in the mouth, and I went to I went to a track meet because that's where we were all together. We were staying like Friday night, going to a track meet on Saturday, and this is what we were doing on Friday night. I'm going to the track meet. My jaw's like pushed out. My teeth aren't aligning at all. You know, I never told my parents. But yeah, it was us screwing around with Bloodsport and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Number
All right.
one.
Matt, you're up.
Yeah.
Number
So we're just gonna ride this coattail and say that my number 1 was Bloodsport as well. So
Oh,
I think again, this was one of those things when you asked me like my top 5, I already knew in my head number 1 was Bloodsport. You know.
yeah, that's a good
Um,
one.
Yeah, I think it too. It was kind of like I remember watching it young, and kind of like Brooks was talking about too. Is it was kind of more brutal than the
Yeah.
other movies that
Yeah.
you had seen. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that was
Yeah,
kind of one of the
especially for
reasons
its
that stuck
time.
out to me too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
Nicholas.
So it would have to be The Protector because that's
Ooh.
kind of the movie that got me into martial arts. It led me into Muay Thai, which me calling around to dojos in the DeLand area, and no one around there did really Muay Thai, which Kimber says, well, we have this jujitsu program. And I said, whatever, I'll try it. And
That's a big jump from
yeah, I
Muay
know.
Thai
My big
Yeah.
jump,
jiu-jitsu.
Muay Thai
Yeah.
to jujitsu. It's like, well, I'll take what I can get because I did not want to do traditional American karate because I grew up watching my brother do it. And it's like, that's not my thing I want to do. And jiu-jitsu is where I ultimately ended up at. So the protector.
Got it.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not sure I'm familiar with that
I don't
one.
think I've ever seen it.
It's he
Who's
grows up
in
with
it?
an elephant and he's protecting this elephant and it gets kidnapped and he finds it as he grows up and basically goes around beating the shit out of people.
Well, goes around beating the shit out of people. You
Yeah,
describe most martial arts
Just to
films.
get the
Yeah.
elephant back. I'll send you a link, Dave.
All right, Brooks.
Number one for me would have to be Enter the Dragon.
Okay.
It was the first martial arts movie I ever watched. I was young. I was extremely impressionable kid. So to me, it's always stood out in my mind. And I've watched Big Boss, and I've watched other of Bruce Lee's movies, but that one, the same reason like everybody else, because of uh, the uh, the scene where he's like fighting all the different guys, like one on one in the tournament style, and it was like it wasn't just kicking. Like he grapples the one guy to the ground and does all that that kind of stuff too. So it was back in the day, it was the most realistic thing I'd ever watched besides boxing. As far as in a movie, because I was really sheltered away from that stuff when I was a kid. My mom's really pacifistic, so she didn't even like us watching that kind of stuff. So when I was able to finally watch that kind of stuff, and that was the first one, first martial arts movie I ever watched. I guess because it was the first martial arts movie I ever watched, I really have this. It has a place in my heart, I would say.
So now,
Yeah,
the
everybody's
scene
frozen.
in Enter the Dragon is the one where he's in like the Hall of Mirrors. Is that like the first time? Because that's been
Yeah.
so played out. I mean, it was in John Wick, in the was it John Wick 2?
I think 2, yeah.
Yeah.
It was in Conan the Destroyer, the part 2 of Conan. I mean, how many films have done
The
an
mirror
homage
scene.
to that scene? So was Enter the Dragon the first one to do that?
I think so. I mean,
It's the first one I can think of. I can't think of any others that were older than that. There may be some older. I mean, there's always those older Japanese style ones where everybody, like people were hiding behind the paper walls and stuff like that,
Right.
or the old
But
samurai
this one,
movies where they,
but like I said, this one
somebody
had
come
the mirrors. This one
jumping
had
through
like I said, this one had the
the
reflections,
mirror
and
thing.
it's such a scene that's been overdone by so many other films. I mean, it's such an iconic scene when you
Yeah.
watch it.
Are you ready for mine?
No, because you're gonna
Absolutely.
steal mine.
I'm not.
You are too.
Kill Bill.
Kill his thunder.
You
Kill Bill.
changed
Kill Bill.
you
I
changed
changed
your
my mind.
list.
I changed my mind. That's where we're
Okay.
going. I had Kill Bill at lower in the list, but I tweaked it. Mosquito.
So Kill Bill is your
Kill
number
Bill.
one.
Yes. I thought it was fun. And it homaged a bunch of other.
I liked Bill, but I only ever watched it twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I just like that it
It was
kind of
a good- it was
homaged a
a
bunch
good
of other
one.
martial arts films,
Mhm.
even
Everybody-
down to the
Yeah.
tracksuit, the yellow tracksuit,
Right.
and
yeah.
all of that. So,
That was Game of Death, the
Yeah.
homage to Game of Death.
all right, Dave.
All right. So my number one, I have down
Yeah.
Choke, the documentary.
Yeah.
That's my one of my
Yeah,
early
man.
films. I started watching martial arts films, unfortunately, and that's probably why I don't put Bruce very high in my list. Is I was already watching a whole bunch of Shaw Brothers, kung fu films. I was already watching a bunch of the the older Japanese samurai films like Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
One of my favorite series was The Blind Swordsman. What's a I'm trying to remember the Japanese name for it. And then Lone Wolf and Little Cub, which was then redone as a movie, Shogun Assassin. So I was already watching a whole bunch of different martial arts films and different genres, and then started getting into MMA, and then I saw Choke, and Choke was an eye opener. I mean, like, it peeled back a lot of different stuff. And I'm big. I love philosophy. I love things of that nature. And so for me, and I had to kind of, like, because I wanted to also put like Smashing Machine, which is another documentary, but it's a little less about the martial arts. I thought Choke really delved more into what it was like to be a martial artist prepping for these tournaments that we love in these films.
Yeah.
And this was one of those real life ones, following their progression. And I thought it was just the coolest thing when I saw it, and then obviously Hickson's breathing thing, who didn't? I mean, I used to be able to, not like he did, but when I was younger, I used to be able to pull in the sides of the abs, have the center channel, and flex and do things of that nature. And then, kind of like Von Damme in the splits, as soon as I saw Choke, and I was already studying another martial arts where breathing was a bigger factor in some of the arts, and so who didn't suddenly flex their stomach to see if they could manipulate their abs like Hickson.
Yeah.
Well, cool,
that's kind
guys.
of an iconic picture, you know what I mean? Like, everybody kind of recognizes that.
Well, and then for new audiences, that's how Hulk started off. Is the one scene, unfortunately you gotta watch it because there's different versions of Hulk, but one of them, what was the character? What was the actor's name?
I don't remember.
But he's in Brazil, and he's trying to control the beast, and it's a scene where they're sitting together and breathing.
Yeah, it was the same guy that played in. Yeah, it was the same actor that played in American History X.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what's that dude's? I forgot his name.
I can never remember.
He's a
his
good
name either.
He's looking at it now.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
There's like a mini documentary they did on Kron, and he does it in that one too a few times.
Yeah.
The ab thing. Yeah.
Dave's looking them up right now.
Yes. Ask you.
I'm
It'll bother him otherwise.
God, he played in
Edward Norton.
Yes.
Yes.
Edward Norton.
Yeah. But so like Hulk starts off basically doing, his thing where he's getting him to do the breathing and things of that nature. And I also dug it because there was the one kickboxer from Texas that was talking about how, he like, if he wins his first fight, that he'll have enough money to live out his dream, which is to be a bobsled race driver.
Oh yeah.
But the drivers have to have their own sled. And then, like 6 years later, I'm watching the Olympics, and there he is. He's there racing bobsled.
Yeah, living his dream.
Living his dream. And unfortunately, though, they ask him about his, they're like, hey, didn't you used to do that? And he's, yeah, those were the dark days. We don't talk about that. And I thought that was kind of a little piss poor, but
yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. This was fun. We're gonna have to do it again.
Oh yeah.
We'll have to get different
absolutely.
topics.
So next one we'll have to do the worst.
Oh, jeez.
That's
The
gonna be
worst
harder to
martial
do.
arts films.
That'll be fine.
Yeah,
There's
that's
some
gonna be
bad
hard
ones.
because
You
There's
gotta
some
keep the
terrible
top
ones.
5 list in case.
Oh, pal.
there's a lot of Steven Seagals to.
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but I gotta say though, so Steven Seagal had some good films. He
did.
He
went
almost
weird.
made my list. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
one. I think it's Bill.
Under
That was-
Siege almost made my list.
Under Siege is a good film. He went weird, but he's got some good films.
Yeah.
But
Right.
there's some
Right.
stinkers out there. There's some, and without even getting obscure, there's some stinkers out there. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said,
yeah.
I was not the Halle Berry film that just came out. They
Was
were
bad.
touting it as this big.
That'll be on Dave's list.
It was just not that good. Red Belt, another one that was supposed to be amazing.
Oh, I
it
ended
was
up getting that one too. And it was
horrible.
not good.
It was horrible, so hokey.
Dave was so excited too. 'Cause he's
Yeah.
like, yes, a jujitsu movie.
Well,
And
and
it was-
everybody's in it. I mean,
was-
Jean Jacques in it. I mean, it's like a who's who
Yeah.
but it was not a jujitsu
of Brazilian
movie.
jiu-jitsu guys, and it was so hokey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we talk. Well, what's the guy from Boondock Saints? Sean.
Michael Flannery.
Yeah, Sean Michael Flannery or whatever. He did a jiu-jitsu movie that, again, I just, like I said,
People were all geeked about it because they actually had a jujitsu guy playing.
and an
But-
actor, a jiu-jitsu,
But
a
the
guy who's
acting
a
was
legit
terrible.
actor.
The story was awful.
Homecoming.
Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, when you said earlier today, there's like no jujitsu movie. I was like, I know there's one. I've heard of one.
Yeah. Don't bring up the Nick Cage one.
Yeah.
Don't bring up jujitsu.
I haven't seen it, but so I don't know.
Oh,
I mean,
Check
the
it
movie's
out.
called Jiu-Jitsu, but there's like
It's
little to no
bad.
jiu-jitsu in the movie.
there is none.
There's none.
What's
Yeah.
probably more like
None.
Japanese jiu-jitsu style, but
Alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some horrible films. And as I said, I mean, think about it. There's already some really good histories out there that if somebody were to actually tell the story, I think jiu-jitsu and or MMA could easily have a really cool film that's real, not garbage, not
Yeah.
cliche. I mean, like I said, there's
I think there's enough good actual real life stories in MMA.
yeah.
Absolutely.
For sure to make some good films. Because it wasn't like the best of the best basically based off of an Olympic karate team.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know on that one.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Yeah.
I think the film is in Netflix. If not, it's on Amazon Prime. But there's it's dubbed, but it's the life story basically of Jose Aldo. And I mean it was actually surprisingly a really good story and doesn't get hokey. Why is it in every MMA film like the fights have to either be some stupid underground fight that's unsanctioned or it's got to happen in some other country, outside? I mean, the MMA films just get silly, in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was surprised no Chuck Norris in any list.
No.
Nope.
You know what's
If TV
you know
shows
what's
counted, I
funny
would have
is
put Walker Texas
the
Ranger.
first time.
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys
The
switched.
first time I ever saw Chuck.
Dave has been promoted or demoted.
Yes.
What happened? I think the first time I saw Chuck Norris was in which Jackie Chan or not Jackie Chan? I'm sorry, Bruce Lee movie that he started.
Yeah, when they do the fight,
where
in the
they were
Coliseum.
in the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Enter the Dragon.
That was the first time I. Yes, isn't it?
Yeah. I thought that was Enter the Dragon,
Yeah.
right?
No, I don't think it is.
No, it's not Enter the
No.
Dragon. It's like the second
No.
or third one of the.
Yeah.
Dave's looking it up
That
again.
was the first
I was
time.
like,
Yeah, that was the first time I ever saw Chuck Norris. And I knew he was a real martial artist, but I never really watched very much. He did a couple
That's
what was it? It was like a special forces
Yeah.
movies.
Isn't that where Bruce Lee rips his chest
With-
hair? In that movie?
Yes.
Yes, that is that.
it was
that
in
is
The Way
that
of the
movie.
Dragon.
the
Way
Way
of
of the
the Dragon,
Dragon.
okay.
That's what it's. Yeah.
The Way
Half
of the
was
Dragon?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Way of the Dragon. See, for me, Chuck
Is that-
Norris was the first one that introduced me to ninjas
That's true.
in the film The
Oh.
Octagon.
Huh. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
So yeah, so
I don't think if I did see
Yeah, me
it.
too.
so
Oh my
so
God,
yeah, sorry.
what's that?
So Chuck Norris. So Chuck Norris did the film The Octagon. which for me was the first film I ever saw that had ninjas. And that movie is what's the date? That's 1980 that it comes out. And that was the first one. Now he used ninjas in a couple films, and then the ninja craze came out.
And then everybody had ninjas.
Then everybody had
Right.
ninjas. But The Octagon for me was the first film that had so the movie has a ninja camp where they train ninjas and things of that nature. And then it was the first one that had the masked ninja where they put things over their face, and the classical ninja, the way everybody remembers.
See, the first movie I remember Chuck Norris in was actually Sidekicks.
Yep. Oh, that's a great movie.
Oh, wow.
How did that not make the list?
Well, and he plays
know,
Chuck
right?
Norris.
Yeah.
We need to do a top 10 list.
We got
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
we
the
do
top
because there's a
five
couple
Chuck
I'm
Norris.
thinking of off the top of my. Yeah, there's a couple of them I'm thinking of off the top of my head now that I probably should have put in my top 5 that I'm just now thinking of because we're talking about.
Now
Well,
that
is
one
it-
says it,
movies.
how did, and Dave said it, how did not Chuck Norris make the list at all of us?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I know. That's
The
pretty
problem
funny.
is with Chuck Norris, he's got some great films, but they were never one of those that just were on like autoplay, repeat for me all the
They get
time.
overshadowed by
Right.
the
I mean,
the Walker Texas Ranger that he did. It gets overshadowed by that too. So
well, because I
Yeah.
mean, for most people,
Yeah.
because you got to think, I mean, he did The Octagon in 1980. Most of his films were, I want to say, 70s.
Yeah,
Because
it was early.
almost,
I don't.
go ahead.
He's looking,
Oh.
researching.
It was like, he was Walker for almost 10 years,
Yeah, he did Walker for a long time.
from 93 to 2001.
2001.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did Way of the Dragon in 72.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find his movies.
Delta Force, 86.
Delta Force was the one I was thinking of
Yeah.
that he did, and that was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
But that to me was more of like to me, it's put in a different genre. It's more of a war movie.
What the
it's
hell was
military for
Chuck
sure.
Norris in Dodgeball?
He did.
He
I
does
think
the-
Oh, he
He just thumbs up. He like does a
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right.
well, because you got to think about it. I mean, Chuck Norris became legend. I
Yeah.
mean, all the Chuck Norrisisms. I mean, Chuck doesn't do push-ups; he pushes the earth down.
Down, yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
There's a fucking webpage of him.
I mean, Chuck is a living legend. I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
like
and,
the one
and,
where-
and perhaps that's one of the reasons why. I mean, Bruce died
It's
young.
like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris doesn't catch COVID. COVID Chuck.
Yeah.
Right.
just
I
Chuck
love. I mean,
Norris.
the boogeyman checks under his bed for Chuck Norris.
Chuck
Chuck
Norris.
Norris can eat a Rubik's Cube and poop it out solved.
Yeah. I like the one that was like the rattlesnake. It's like the rattlesnake bites Chuck Norris, and after 3 days, the rattlesnake dies.
Nice.
Right.
Chuck Norris can unscramble an egg.
And then what's the one? It was about a specific city naming a street Chuck Norris, but then they had to rename it because nobody crosses Chuck Norris and lives.
Oh,
Oh
God.
man.
I
Yeah,
have
I'm
that
so glad I
shirt that
did
had
this.
the
I
list.
needed a good laugh.
I mean, and that's why it is surprising that. But I mean, sometimes, I mean, because like he's he's arguably one of the most famous martial artists out there. I mean,
definitely.
For sure.
But
And
I
a
guess-
true martial artist as well. Like
Yeah.
not just he's dedicated his entire life to not just one martial art, but multiple different martial arts
and he's
and
a
skills and-
Machado Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's the thing you told me
Right.
not too long ago. I had no idea he even trained jujitsu.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
That's
like
crazy.
Bruce Lee, which is interesting because Bruce Lee is credited with the Tao of Jeet Kune Do and things of that nature. whereas Chuck Norris actually embraced, he embraced jujitsu,
Multiple styles.
multiple styles, things of that nature. And so it is kind of interesting. And maybe it's one of those things that because he had such a long career, that he was easily, forgotten about and overshadowed. Whereas when, for whatever reason, when somebody dies young, your legend is not always about what you did, but what people think you could have done had you
correct.
had you stayed around.
Right.
Good point.
And for Chuck, he had such a long career, both in kickboxing and the like, or at least in karate. I mean, they were still wearing the pants back in the day, but I mean, a true legend. And like I said, he legit gets a black belt under the Machado brothers and plays. I think he plays an actual fairly pivotal role in launching them into gym success. Because if I'm not mistaken,
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken,
he bought their first gym.
Yeah, he's like, hey guys, let's go. And they're like, where are we going? He's like, we're going to your academy. I got you one. I mean, how badass is that?
I've also heard that.
So what you're telling me? So what
Yeah.
you're telling me is Chuck Norris created 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. Their lineage should go Eddie Bravo, Jean-Jacques, Chuck Norris.
There's like a little sideways tilt, and then Chuck Norris is on there.
Oh, that would be awesome if Eddie actually embraced that. We would know it started here.
Oh man.
They would have to from here on out, they would have to be like per mat. Chuck Norris is, if no Chuck Norris, no 10th Planet.
Back.
Oh goodness.
All right, y'all. Well, thank you for spending the evening with us. We appreciate
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. Had fun.
Yeah.
I'll see
Oh,
you
yeah,
guys
thank
in about a
you.
month.
When you coming down, Nick?
We leave the the 24th. We leave here, so we'll probably be down there, and we're coming back the 4th. So we're down for about a week and a half.
All right.
You're gonna have to come in and get your ass kicked.
So you're driving?
Yeah,
You guys driving down or flying down?
driving. For his, he turns 1 year on the 3rd, so we're going to be celebrating.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I know, it's crazy how time flies.
Yeah.
He's
Oh
got
yeah.
like 10 teeth. He's scooting
Oh,
around in
geez.
the walker. Yeah. It's crazy that 2 years ago I never thought I'd be a dad. Right. No, actually, guys, Dave is the one that married me and my wife at the dojo.
Yep.
Yeah, at the old location.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then we
Very cool.
rickrolled everybody at our wedding because that's our wedding song. So,
All right, so
Hold on.
I have to cue up our exit music.
Oh, what is our exit music? Uh-oh. I didn't even know we had exit music.
Yes.
Me either, but I'm ready for it.
yeah.
All right.
I'm
Let's
pumped.
see what this is.
No, Dave, you can't rickroll us.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. All right, it's coming up.
The turn.
Around. There it is. I need a headband now. Put it on. All right, guys. So with that, we're calling it done.
All right.
Awesome, guys. See ya.
Talk to you guys.
Yeah.